All right. Okay, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, so it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. So a little program note here. Kind of good and bad. It's bad because I'll be taking another vacation, but it's good because I'm going on. I'm going away with my wife, my son, and my mother-in-law. So we're going to Mexico. So I'll be gone for about like 9 days or so. I'll be going live at least up to Thursday, and I'll have to see maybe Friday if I can try to get the game on somewhere down here in South Jersey. If I was up in North Jersey or New York or whatever, the Giant game would be on, and I'd be able to go live for the whole game. But I have to see if down in South Jersey if I can get the game or whatever. So I might go live Friday. I'm not sure, but pretty much as of right now, it's what's looking is I'll be going live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then we'll have to wait and see. But I will be off the following week because I'll be in Mexico. So little programming note there. But also, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, it's the top links. It takes you to my membership page. Right, top link in the description box. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, I thank you so much in advance, and it means the world to me. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top Facebook link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group, and I say this in every video, right? Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page is pretty much all called the same thing. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It dumbs it down for moron like me. That way, I don't have to, what's my page called? What's my YouTube channel? Is the group called something different than the page? It's all called the same thing. It just dumbs it down for me, makes it nice and easy for me, all right? What are we at? We're at 4,700 members in the group. We were holding tight at 46, a little over 4,600. We just hit the 4,700 member mark. I believe it was today. I think it was sometime this morning. I think I saw it go up to 4,700. So we're growing, right? And basically what it is, after I get done going live here, I'll spend probably like the next couple hours just putting stuff in the Facebook group here and in the Facebook page, which I'm going to go over in a minute. Okay. And I try to get at least 10 different things in there every day, whether it's a picture, a post, sharing an article, something showing some stats on a ball player, a video, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. And now that the season's, almost upon us, it's so easy to get at least 10 things in it. I'm probably getting closer to like 20 things in there every day, right? So, but I put stuff in here, but members post stuff in here as well too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. Then the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. But it's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one to post anything in here. But it's the same thing. Once I get done going live, I'll spend, up to like the next couple hours just putting stuff in the group and in the page. And what are we at here? We're at over 2,800 likes, and we're at over 8,100 followers. Usually, what was kind of happening last year too, it was like every other day, every 2 or every 3 days, it went up like another 100 followers. So it's doing good. It's really, really taking off. It's doing simply marvelous. But it's the same thing. I try to get every day at least 10 things in there every day. Well, I said, once again, whether it's a video, a picture, a post, something showing some stats on a ball player, sharing an article. Once again, something making Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? You know, if putting almost 365, even when I'm on vacation next week, I'll still be putting stuff in there every night. When the day is done and I put my wife off the bed and she's all drunk and everything like that, I'll be sitting in the corner, you know, of our room in Mexico, and I'll be putting stuff on there. So if I got internet access, pretty much 365, there's stuff going in the page in the group, and I don't commingle the stuff. So basically, the stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I just try to keep the stuff separate, unless I find something that really makes fun of the Eagles, and I just want to share that with everybody. So I might put that in the page and in the group. But other than that, you know, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, right, and you go to the group and you become a member, there's a ton of New York Giants football information stuff just every day, almost 365, right? But of course, there's always some people that always aren't satisfied. You can't satisfy everybody, right? So, so as I always say, so if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, man, a lot of stuff going on here today. Man, got some good news, right? In the old injury front, right? Good old Oshane, right? They said he's a big man. He looks big too. I got 7,000. Is this it? Here we go. 7,000 tabs open. So thank goodness. Marcus McKethan. Let's get the man on the field. Let's see what he can do. The 5th rounder from last year, right? Let's see what he can do. And let's get Oshane on the field. Now I have to wait and see what winds up happening. Like, they're all just off the PUP, right? They passed the physical and all that stuff. So that's all fine and fancy, but we don't know what's exactly wind up happening when they're playing their joint practices against Detroit, because there ain't no patty caking going on there, right? But says the Giants announced Monday morning that they're activating defensive tackle A'Shawn Robinson and offensive lineman Marcus McKethan off of the PUP list. Now they're off the PUP list. Now they can't go back on the PUP list. Once you come off, you can't go back on, right? So the 2 players have passed their physicals. Good. And I'm very excited about both of these guys, really, because you want to see what. Obviously, A'Shawn, they gave the money. They gave the money. Duh. They gave the man some money. He even has some money going to him next year. He even has some dead cat money. So I mean, if the guy can walk and chew gum, right, he's on the team. Let's hope, knocking on wood here, okay, he stays healthy and everything. The guy's on the team. He's a big man. He's going to really help the run game, right? So very excited just to get him out there. I don't know. It's almost kind of like you put him on the field and then Nacho comes off the field. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe somewhere along the line for the beginning of the season, we'll actually have Nacho and A'Shawn on the team at the same time, because now apparently Nacho has a groin problem. Yeah, but that doesn't seem like nothing super duper horrible or whatever, but looks like he wasn't practicing today. I think he might be going. I think it says in one of his articles, I think he's going with the team, but he's got a little issue with his groin. So, but A'Shawn Robinson and Marcus McKethan off of the PUP list, right? Robinson, who the Giants signed a free agency earlier this year, has been working back from his torn meniscus. Ended his 2022 season in November last year, right? He is a stout run defender. He's a big man. And is expected to play a significant role in a Giants defense that struggled against the run in 2022. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you can ever get like him and Sexy Dexy next to one another, you got 2 stout defenders. Let me tell you what, you got probably, I mean, my goodness, it's got to be 700 pounds of beef right there. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. McKethan tore his ACL a year ago. And the announcement comes, this is weird. The announcement, him coming off PUP, comes a year and a day after he was placed on the IR in last year's training camp. He tore his ACL on August 5th of last year and was officially placed on IR. So he's officially placed on IR on August 6th last year. So here it is, August 7th. So a year and a day. So it took him 366 days. But the man is back. Let us hope and pray and all of that, that he can stay healthy. Let's see what the guy can do, right? Giants have struggled with injuries that have stressed the depth along their offensive and defensive line so far in camp. Adding Robinson and McKethan will help bolster their depth and add competition to the final roster. Absolutely, yes. So I'm so happy about that. But then also, the Giants brought in another defensive lineman, right? This is from Dan Dugan. Chris Wormley is visiting the Giants today. Pursue a 7th-year vet with 31 career starts, spent his first 3 seasons with Wink, right? There you go. Familiarity in Baltimore. He said set a career high with 7 sacks for the Steelers in 2021. Now, the interesting thing with him, obviously, this will be his 7th season. He was 2017. He was drafted by the Ravens in the 3rd round, pick number 74 from Michigan. Okay, so there's certainly some promise. There's I'm looking at Pro Football Focus here, right? That's all. You got him 6'5", 300 pounds, nice size, right? But I mean, last season with Pittsburgh, and pretty much, he obviously he wasn't the main man. But he was 338 snaps, defensive snaps last year, according to Pro Football Focus. That's all I'm going by. He graded at a 74.3. Not too shabby, right? I mean, one of the things is, beneficial things is, rotational is your rotational piece. So what is that? 17 and 17 would be 340. So basically he played about 20 snaps a game last year. He missed I don't know if I guess maybe he got injured. I'm not exactly sure, but he missed his last game last year was week 14. Okay, so he missed the final few weeks. But on an average, if you pan 338 snaps out over a course of 17 games, that's almost 20 snaps a game. So rotational, right? And he graded out a 74.3. Pretty good. The year before that with Pittsburgh, when he set career high with 7 sacks, okay, he graded out a 69.3. Now, 769 snaps he played in 2021. So the interesting thing, let's see here, with Mr. Wormley here, when he had all those snaps, but when he had his 7 sacks with Pittsburgh in 2021, 7 sacks, not too bad. That's when he played the 769 snaps. I guess we was pretty much a what do we got here? Yeah. He played in 15 games. He started 14 of them. So, he started 14 games and he had 7 sacks. So basically, if you want to look, looking at it that way, if he played almost a full season, 16 games, he'd have almost 8 sacks. That was just that one year. All the others, he had 1 sack. He had another year, he had 1.5 sacks. Last season, he only had half a sack, so maybe you don't expect too much. If I don't even know if they signed him, they brought him in. This is all I'm saying is, they just brought him in. But I mean, as a rotational piece in 2020, he played 164 snaps with Pittsburgh. He graded out at an 80.4. Right. The 3 years he was with Wink, in 2019, he graded out a 65.6. He had 481 snaps. 2018, 426 snaps with Baltimore. He graded out a 68.8. His rookie season, he had only 120 snaps. He graded out a 54.3. But after his rookie season, he graded out a 68, a 65, an 80, a 69, a 74. So, I mean, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Hey, let's see what he can do, right? I mean, especially if you're trying to bolster that, I mean, because between DJ Davidson, you're not sure with him, Jordan Riley, got Ryder Anderson, so we got some guys, I'm certainly pulling for Ryder Anderson. Hopefully he's he winds up being okay with his tricep. But, unfortunately, with his tricep, he's injured. You got to bring somebody else in. So they brought Chris Wormley in. So be interesting to see if they do wind up signing him. But he could be an interesting sign if the Giants do wind up signing him. Very, very interesting sign. Especially because, once again, it's not, they're just not bringing a guy out of the blue or nothing. What's up, Terrence? I'm excited to see how they can help the team. Yeah, but I mean, there's familiarity with Wormley there. But yeah, to your point, yeah, Terrence, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I mean, as I said, Robinson. I mean, you look at pictures of that dude. Jesus God, he looks like a brick building. My God, as I said, man, if they can ever get him and Sexy next to one another, man, they occupy probably I don't know what, 10, 12 feet of the line of scrimmage, right? I mean, you have a hard time moving those guys. And that's the beauty of that, because then you got a Carriquet behind him. You free him up. He can run around and do his thing. Or if you got Beavers, right, or you got McFadden, they do have the two inside linebackers. Carriquet can run all over the place. But, Beavers a tall dude too. But McFadden's good, going downhill. Right. So, I mean, he's a big boy. But then you're also excited about McKethan, too. Let's see what he can do, because, we're trying to get you're building, obviously the offensive line. You got Neal, you got Thomas, you got John Michael Schmitz. You're trying to, who's going to step up and be the guards of the future. But not only that, you need to know who's going to be, your backups going forward. Can McKethan, become one of his back? We got a lot of guys there, he needs to, for him, he wasn't able to make the roster or get cut or be put on the practice squad or none of that because the season was ended. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And basically, it's a shame because basically he's still a rookie. I mean, he missed his whole season. Now, maybe he could learn the system and all of that, but as far as, going through the motions and everything, it's kind of tough, especially when he want to hurt himself. Leo Dex, hey, Sean, starting three would be, yeah, it would be. But that's the thing is then now you got to start looking at a numbers game. What would it be? If you got those three guys in the middle, are you going to have, Kayvon and Azeez, so then now you got five guys. That means, okay, so now you only got, what was it, six. So, so you're going to have three cornerbacks. I guess you could maybe do that. If you have a Carriquet, you could put Azeez and Kayvon, and then you have Sexy Dex, Leo Line, and Ashawn Robinson, up front. So that'd be a nice five. And if you have a Carriquet, right, so that would be, six guys. Then you have five guys left. You got to have two safeties and then three cornerbacks. I mean, that would be pretty stout against the run. Those would be some three good guys. I'll tell you what. And don't forget about Nunez, Nacho too. Hopefully. Now he has a groin, so hopefully it's not too bad. Keep your fingers crossed. But we have Dan Dugan. He was he put in here. He said, "Is the center position not settled yet?" I don't know. I don't know. I think Bredesen started his second straight day at center. So I think he's just getting some snaps in there. I'd have a hard time believing that Michael Schmitz won't be the starter. But, hey, you never know. I said Azudu was the starter at left guard for the second straight day. Right? Glowinski was right guard. Inside linebacker number 2 was McFadden. The slot cornerback was Flott in the slot. And also Adoree Jackson was in there as well, too. Then he shows a picture of Ronnie Lott was at the Giants practice, the Hall of Fame safety. Man, that dude, he was, one game, there was a playoff game. It was either 1984 or 1985. I could look back at it fast. 84, 85. Was it 83? Damn, one of those years. Ronnie Lott, he was playing a playoff game. They were at home against the Cowboys. He went in and made a tackle. I can't remember who the running back was. He went in and made a tackle. Something happened with his finger. And I don't know if the bone was sticking out or something like that, whatever. So what they brought him in, and I mean, this is just. I'd have a hard time grasping this concept or whatever. But so Ronnie Lott came in, he made a tackle. He was playing for the 49ers. I can't remember. It was Ron Springs or somebody, one of the Cowboys running backs. But you can type it up on Google or whatever it was. It was in a playoff game. And so something happened. I said, one of his fingers, the bone was sticking out or something. And they brought him off to the sideline, or they brought him into maybe the dressing room or something like that. And they're like, something like, well, we can maybe set the bone or reset it or something. We might have to operate or something or whatever, so, you come out of the game and, I'm not sure if they were doing it there. They were going to take him to the hospital or whatever it was, or blah, 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 blah. We'll try to fix the finger for you. And then maybe next week you can go back in or something like that. He's like, no, this is a, Ronnie Lott's like, no, I'm going back in the game. He's like, cut the finger off. So part of one of his fingers is cut off, the top digit or whatever, or maybe the very tip or something like that. They cut it off. I guess, I don't know what the hell you do. Sew it up. I don't know what you did. Then he taped it up and went back in the game. I mean, I don't know how much time he missed. I don't know. I forgot what quarter it was in. If it was the first half, whatever it was. But, I mean, he said, he's like, cut the end of my finger off, tape it up, whatever, stitch it up, stape it up, whatever it is. I'm going back in the game. It's crazy. So I'm not sure which finger it is exactly. But one of his fingers, he's missing the end of it because they had him cut it off in the playoff game. Unbelievable. That's a freaking warrior for you. Well, apparently he was at the practice today. Ronnie Lott practiced with Leonard. There's a picture of Leonard Williams and assistant defensive line coach Brian Cox. Williams is a longtime boyfriend of Lott's daughter, Haley. So that's why Ronnie Lott's. But I'll tell you what, he's a 49er. But anytime you get some greatness in there, let me tell you what, he's an outstanding. He's a warrior, outstanding football player, and all that. Anytime you can get, even if he's a 49er, if he's in the building, that's absolutely fantastic. Then this is funny too. Dan Dugan's like, I don't know how, why, who, what, whatever, but he said Julian Edelman is here. Yeah, just what we need, another slot receiver. But he said he's in street clothes, so don't think the Giants are signing another slot receiver. I guess he was making a joke of that. Then he says injury updates. Defensive tackle Nunez Roches has a groin, won't practice on Monday, and right tackle Evan Neal has a concussion, remains in the protocol, but will travel to Detroit for the joint practices. So I'm not sure if that's Evan Neal's joining the Detroit for joint practices, or Roches and Evan Neal are going there. I'm not exactly sure. So. And it says that the Giants hold a brief. Basically, it was kind of like a brief walkthrough practice today from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock before heading to Detroit for a pair of joint practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. I heard Tuesday and Thursday. I heard Tuesday. I guess maybe it is Tuesday and Wednesday. Somebody said Thursday too. I don't remember what that was, but I guess it was Tuesday and Thursday. They'd be off on Thursday. I'm sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, and then they got the preseason game Friday. I guess that makes sense. Says fans are no longer allowed to attend practices in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So, all right, let's see here. What we got here? Cover 4. Then I saw here some bargain free agents the Giants might want to target. A couple interesting guys here. A couple bargain free agents. The first one, Kyle Van Noy. I'm not sure how much these guys are going to. Who is this here? This is Bleacher Report. It says the Giants' search for a reliable linebacking group continued in 2022. Though New York boasted a deep and talented defensive front, it still ranks 31st in yards per carry allowed. For a team hoping to compete with likes of San Francisco and, of course, the Eagles. I mean, that's you definitely want to help yourself out with the run defense. Unless the Giants uncover a few surprises at the second level during the preseason, they should be very interested in adding an experienced veteran to the group. Kyle Van Noy, who last played for the Chargers, would be a terrific target. Van Noy is an experienced do-it-all linebacker who has fulfilled multiple roles during his 9-year career. Last season, he accumulated 46 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, while being credited with only 2 missed tackles. So he's also a 2-time champion, too. Van Noy knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. He can provide help in the linebacker rotation, but his experience and leadership could be even more important for a team eager to take a proverbial next step. So, I mean, with Van Noy, yeah, I mean, last year he played all 17 games. He started 13 of them. I mean, you go back to, basically almost his whole career, he's been very, very reliable. 2015, he played in 15 games. 2016, he played in 14. 2017, 13. 2018, 16. Then 15, and 14, and 16. He played in all 17 games last year. So very reliable. I mean, you look at his sacks, too. Last year, he had 5. Then he had 5 the year before that. Then he had 6. Then he had 6.5. Then he had 3.5. Then he had 5.5. So, and, his tackles, he gets some tackles, too. So, I mean, if the price is right, let's see here. Then the next guy they have here is, I wouldn't mind this guy here. Obviously bringing in edge Melvin Ingram. Let's see here. Ingram should also fill the need for a bargain after playing on a modest 1-year, $4 million. So he played a 1-year, $4 million contract last year in Miami. So now he's a year older, right? Hopefully wouldn't take $4 million. But I mean, to get another solid, get like a third, edge rusher, option at edge rusher. I mean, like if Kayvon needs a blow, you bring Melvin Ingram in. Not too bad. If Azeez gets injured, let's hope not. Or if he needs a blow, bring in Melvin in, right? What the heck? What did he have here? Melvin Ingram, what did he do? I mean, let's say he played in all 17 games last year. He only started 3, right? So he's like situational, pretty much. He still had 6 sacks, right? I mean, I don't know where that would put him on the Giants. I mean, he only started 3 games last year, and it's 6 sacks. I mean, that would have put him pretty high up on the Giants list last year, right? Of course, obviously in 2017, he had 10.5 sacks. 2015, he had 10.5. 2016, he had 8. Then he had 7. In 2018, he had another 7 in 2019. So, I mean, he's kind of far removed. I mean, obviously he's 34 years old too, right? So, I mean, he's a no long-term solution. But, if you bring somebody in, to give you some depth at edge rusher, that may not be a bad selection. Let's see. Then the final guy. Let's see. Yeah, it said last year. What was it? Despite his age, Ingram remains a very capable sack artist. He recorded 6 sacks and 18 quarterback pressures with the Dolphins this past season. He achieved this while being primarily a rotational player and seeing only 45% of the defensive snaps. So. But then the final one, this might not be too bad. Casey Hayward, the cornerback, says, like edge rushers, teams cannot really have too many good cornerbacks. No, you can't. Absolutely not. The addition of Banks should help Martindale's secondary tremendously, but there isn't a high-level veteran on the New York roster. Well, I mean, Adoree Jackson. I've talked about this guy before, but Marcus Peters, who also played under Martindale in Baltimore, would have been the perfect candidate, but he recently signed with the Raiders. So, but Casey Hayward, who last played for the Falcons, would be a great veteran addition to the defense. He's just, is a stopgap, right? 33 years old, appeared in 6 games last season before landing on injury reserve. He had a shoulder injury, but he remains extremely efficient for an aging defensive back. Let's see here. But let's see. I mean, he played weeks 1 through 6, and then he got injured last year. But I mean, he's 2021. He played 1,100 snaps with the Raiders. He graded out of this Pro Football Focus, right? but he graded out of 76.6. The year before that, he graded out of 59.5. But in 2019, he graded out of 83. Then he graded out of 75. Then he graded out of 91. 2 times in his career, he graded out over 91. I mean, he's up there in age, right? But he's 33. He'll be 34. So he's up there, right? Don't expect he'll be a nice rotational piece, or especially if somebody got injured, to have him on there. But once again, if you grab somebody like him, at a cheaper price to bring somebody in like that, may not be too bad. Especially what it said in the article. You can never have too many good cornerbacks. Especially once again, if somebody does wind up getting injured. All right, then we got now. Of course, I keep seeing these. I've seen a couple articles here like this. About good old Darnay Holmes. He's fighting for his spot here. Who is this? Who is this here? AOL? I'm not sure who that is. AOL.com? Tom Canavan. Cornerback Darnay Holmes in the strong competition to make the Giants roster. Let's see. Cornerback Darnay Holmes has hit the point in his career with the Giants where he needs to take a major step forward. The 4th round draft pick out of UCLA says this is, his final season, with the Giants. But, with him, I mean, if the Giants don't pick him up, somebody else will. Somebody else will give him a chance. That's for sure. Holmes is entering the final year of his rookie contract and needs to do more to stick around this season. In his first 3 seasons, he started 11 of the 38 games, with most of his contributions playing slot cornerback in nickel situations. The selection of Deonte Banks in the first round and guy coming out of left field out of nowhere, right? Mr. Trey Hawkins, the 3rd, right? In the 6th round this year have increased the talent level in the cornerback room. Absolutely. Which already includes top Adoree Jackson, Cordell Flott, Rodarius Williams, Nick McLeod, and Amani Oruwariye. Aaron Robinson, a 3rd round pick in 2021, would be on the list, but he is not ready to go, coming off a major knee injury last season. Yeah, he needs to stay. Aaron Robinson, unfortunately, he needs to stay healthy. Adoree Jackson is the best of the bunch, and there have been times he has played slot cornerback while Banks and Hawkins have taken the outside positions. Holmes has gotten his reps there too, obviously. Yeah. At the end of the day, Holmes said, "I'm just happy to be on the field." Holmes said Monday after the Giants held a short practice. Doesn't matter where I'm at in the rotation. I play this game because of the love and the passion and the competitor within me. I'm just happy I can line it up against some good guys on offense. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of good guys on offense, that's for sure. Holmes had only 2 interceptions in his first 3 seasons, said there are a number of things he is working to improve. He wants to use his hands a little less. Yeah, he needs to do that to avoid the illegal contact penalties, and he has been focusing this season on getting his feet in better position to react to plays. Holmes did not have an interception last season and had 1 in each of his first 2 seasons. His other stats include 97 tackles, 15 passes defense, 4 quarterback hits, half a sack, and 1 fumble recovery. So, and then they asked him, I guess, when asked about the possibility of getting a new contract after the season, he said he was focused on 2023. Well, that's like a pretty much a given, like an answer like that. I guess they're coached up to say stuff. I'm just focused on right now, today. I'm trying to have a good day today and all that. So he said, at the end of the day, there's only so much you can control, and I'm just controlling my physical well-being and my mental state, he said. So I mean, the one thing I obviously like with him is because his salary. I think his salary, because he wound up playing excessive amount of snaps, that wind up in his salary. I think he's like 2.75 million or so this year. So if they were to let him go, the Giants wouldn't save the 2.7 because it's like money goes to the top 51. So if he gets let go, somebody else is going to move up, and whoever takes the 51, the 51st spot on the roster is going to be like making 7, 8, 900,000 or whatever it is. So you figure if Darnay Holmes is cut and he's making 2.7 or 2.8 million, right? So he's gone. Well, the guy who takes his spot in the top 51 is making 800,000. Just saying, the Giants might save about 2 million, but 2 million. I mean, the Giants only have 3 or 4 million to play with. If you can save yourself 2 million, I mean, that's nice. But of course, you don't want to just save $2 million because you're getting, just to get rid of a guy, So obviously we got a lot of guys, a lot of competition. So these next few weeks are going to be very important for Mr. Holmes. I mean, we got the 2 joint practices, right? And then you got the 3 preseason games. It'll be very, very important for Darnay Holmes coming up because, as I said, we got, what we had from last year, right? Now, all of a sudden with the draft this year, right? Now, of course, you took, you got Banks. So okay, well, all right. So we got Adoree Jackson on one side. We got Banks on the other. Oh, okay, that's cool. All right. So now we got Flott, maybe Holmes, a couple other guys, maybe in the slot. Okay. But no, all of a sudden, another Superman, comes stepping out of the telephone booth. His name's Trey Hawkins. He wants a piece of the action, right? So, it's just practice and all. I get all of that stuff, but and also he might be going. Some of his reps were going up against maybe second and third string guys. I get that too, but and once again, it's just training camp, so you can't take it too crazy. But hearing a lot of good things about him, and so, and Dable always says, you'll earn your playing time. So, I mean, Trey Hawkins, I don't know whether they start him out in the second or third string or whatever it was. And now after about a week or so, he's playing with the big boys now. He's on the first string. So I just hear a lot of good stuff about him. So, I mean, so now you're going to have maybe Trey Hawkins. Now you got Banks and you got Adoree Jackson. They might want those 3 guys on the field where, so. And of course, then they drafted Flott, right? And Darnay Holmes came with the store, right? They didn't draft him and nothing. No undrafted free. They didn't bring him in or nothing. He came with Kmart. So he's not a Shane or Dable guy. So it's going to be very, very important for him to. Obviously, I'm not telling anybody anything. Very important for a lot of guys. You're going to need to step it up. But Darnay Holmes, so he's going to be one of those guys. It's going to be so interesting when they go from 90 guys down to 53, who they're going to, because you figure what they're going to keep, like, as I said, like the wide receivers, right? Obviously, of course, who the offensive linemen are going to wind up being, who the 3 running backs they might have on the roster, who the tight end's going to be, but, also the cornerbacks too, right? So it's going to be interesting because they're not keeping, 9 or 10 cornerbacks. So it's good old Darnay Holmes. As I said, but it's the same thing. Is that even if he does get let go, I'm sure somebody will pick him up. You got some experience under your belt. Somebody will pick him up. All right, then then I seen this here. What we got? What to look for? This is from Giants.com. What to look for this week in Detroit? Now they asked. This is from like Big Blue Kickoff Live. They got like John Schmeltz. Who else was here? Is Lance Meadows in here? Lance Meadow came in here. Matt Sitek. I don't know who he is. I don't see Paul Dottino in there. But some of these guys put up what they want to looking for in Detroit, which is, going to be interesting. So John Schmelk, when a different opponent enters the equation, everything in training camp changes. Now, also the Giants have not, they're what would you say? Their past few joint practices, they were good a couple of years. Last time against the Jets, I think they had like one joint practice, but they keep talking about, especially on Big Blue Kickoff Live, they brought up the Giants were looking like they might be a good team and all of this stuff and everything. I think they said then they went to Cincinnati and had some joint practices with the Bengals, and the Giants kind of got smoked. Then there was another joint practice they had. I believe it was against the Patriots they were talking about, and the Giants did not look good. So apparently the last couple joint practices, meaning like where there was multiple practices against the same team, the Giants have not looked very good. So and now you're going up against a good quality, a decent opponent. They've certainly finished last season on an up and up. They just missed the playoffs. They started slow. That's what hurt them. But so it'll be interesting to see how things go. Very, very excited to see how things go in the joint practices. And of course, then for all the world to see, they'll be on stage, Friday night. But Schmelk says players aren't facing the same guys or schemes they haven't seen since spring ball. There's no more taking advantage of knowing the scheme or even the body language of the player you're going against. Yeah. When the Giants start practicing and playing against another team, truth will be revealed for individual players as their skills are tested against unfamiliar foes. The Giants are undoubtedly a young and talented team, but how will they fare against the Detroit Lions? They're a team favored to win the NFC North and finish with a similar 9-8 record. They had a point differential of plus 26, and of course they smoked the Giants last year. The Lions have one of the best designed offenses in football with some dynamic skill player positions. How the Giants cornerbacks, especially young ones like Deonte Banks and Trey Hawkins, cover their receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Their offensive line, the Detroit Lions offensive line, is one of the best in football. And of course, they said, I want to see the Giants rush against that line. Then Schmelk was talking about he wants to see Aiden Hutchinson. I remember him in Big Blue Kickoff Live. He was saying, I want to see Aiden Hutchinson in there. He said, for the Giants offense, how will they block Aiden Hutchinson? Will Jalen Hyatt have the same success against the Lions secondary as he had so far in camp? It will be all about matchups, which will serve as a scale to measure where the Giants are compared to another team that will be battling for the NFC playoff spot. And Schmelk says, I can't wait to see it. Absolutely. And then Dan Solomon, Brian Daboll has yet to announce the plan, but you often see the starters more in the joint practices than the actual game, where coaches can take a long look at youth on the roster. Whichever way it plays out, there's one person in the middle section of the diagrams, Deonte Banks. One of the first things General Manager Joe Schoen said when he took over is that he believes in drafting, developing, and then retaining our own. Banks headlined the second draft and really the first full season for the current regime. In order for organizations to have long-term success, the top brass knows it needs to hit on players like Banks. Absolutely. You can't be pulling in no Eli Apples or Eric Flowers. You can't be doing none of that. What better way to take his development to the next step than getting reps against a new opponent? Absolutely. Then we got Lance Meadow. I brought this player up earlier in the offseason as one to watch, and after the first week of camp, I'm sticking with that suggestion. He wants to see Eric Gray. The rookie running back out of Oklahoma is receiving plenty of reps in the return game. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, yeah. And it will be interesting to see if he gets some opportunities or so, as I like to call it, at bats in the preseason opener in Detroit. Yes, yeah. I mean, because that's the one thing, you know, with him. It's like, Saquon, I don't even know if Saquon's even going to be playing in Detroit, at all. So, of course, then you're going to have Brightwell, right? You're going to have Breida. He said Barkley. So you got the Killer Bees. Barkley probably won't be playing, but you got Breida, Brightwell, Eric Gray, Jashaun Corbin, right? So you want to see what those guys can do. Let's see here. When special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee spoke with the media last week, he noted Gray's talent when discussing potential candidates in the return game and mentioned they may look to create chances for returns in preseason given the new rule changes within that facet. Now, the interesting thing is now, because you got Brightwell, who has the return capability as, in the return game, obviously, but he's a running back, right? He came with the store. He came with Kmart. They didn't draft him, right? Now enter Eric Gray, who was drafted by Schoen and Daboll, right? He's getting some reps, right? You're not going to want to have two running backs there with the right? So is Gray going to knock Brightwell out of the picture? Be interesting to see. Because you're only going to you're not keeping 5 running backs, right? You're probably going to keep 3 and maybe keep 1 guy in the practice squad. Who's it going to be? Interesting. It says, while special teams is an area Gray can flash, let's also not overlook his abilities as part of the ground attack. Absolutely. I'm very excited to see the guy on the field. Absolutely. And then this guy, Matt Sitak, I believe, or Sitak, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. He said he wants to see, there are two rookies, one on each side of the ball, that I'm most excited to see this week in Detroit. Wide receiver Jalin Hyatt. Yes. Yeah. As it will be interesting to see if he continues to display his big playability when going up against a different opponent. However, the player I'm most looking forward to is seeing this week is cornerback Trey Hawkins III. Yep, man. Pulling for him. When the Giants selected Hawkins with the 209th overall pick, I don't think many people believed he'd be competing. No, absolutely not. Old Dominion. I mean, that certainly doesn't mean that you can't be a good football player, but I mean, they take an Old Dominion, right, and you're in the 6th round, and you're a cornerback, man. You ain't expecting a 6th round cornerback from Old Dominion. All you can basically, for the most part, just to be honest with you, if you're taking a cornerback from Old Dominion in the 6th round, I don't care if you have a 6'3", whatever, you're just hoping the guy just makes the team. Maybe he can flash in the special teams or something. Maybe we can be a gunner or something. Maybe, but talking about him competing and battling for first team reps at cornerback. Whew, man. Yeah, very anxious to see him. Hawkins has made plays during team drills just about every day since the start of camp. Not only has he gotten his hands on the ball, but 6'3" to a cornerback. What a size, the height, the length. Wow. 195-pound. Corners also had sticky coverage against some of the top receivers. This week, we will serve as a great test for the rookie corner. The Lions have some talent at their wide receiver room, led by St. Brown. Through his first 2 seasons, St. Brown total 100. Jeez, goodness. I didn't know it was this many. 196 receptions for 2,073 yards and 11 touchdowns, and is a popular choice by many in the media for another big campaign this season. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Detroit receiver room also includes veterans Marvin Jones and Josh Reynolds, along with younger receivers such as Jameson Williams and the newly acquired Denzel Mims. So, yeah, they do have. I'll tell you what, they got themselves, a fine group of players there. Let me tell you what. So it's gonna really be interesting. But I do remember when I was, it was Big Blue Kickoff Live, and somebody else mentioned it also too. I'm not sure it was Patty Trainer or something, but the past few times that the Giants had like joint practices, they did not, multiple joint, they did not look very, very good. And I remember a couple people brought it up specifically. One time, if you're feeling good about yourself, I can't remember what year they said it was, but they went and they played Cincinnati, and whoever it was, the Giants, seemed like they, felt like they had a good team, or they were up and coming or whatever. They feel maybe kind of good about themselves, and they played Cincinnati for a couple, and they really did not look good, not good at all. Then they also brought up they on Big Blue Kickoff Live, they brought up 3. Paul Dottino brought up there was I can't remember, it was the Patriots, the Bengals, and there was somebody else they played, and joint practices, and the Giants had just not looked very, very good. Now, of course, unfortunately, they're not on TV to practice and nothing. So basically, we have to, by the word of mouth from the reporters and all, we have to listen and see what winds up happening. But the Giants have not had very good history over recent history about having joint practices. So this is pretty good. This is going to be pretty big. The Giants, we got to feel pretty good about ourselves going in, but it's going to be a good quality opponent. They're coached very, very well. And so if we can come out looking good with these joint practices the next 2 days, doesn't mean we're going to the Super Bowl, but you certainly want to hear it. It's nice. Be nice to hear something good like that. Well, and hopefully we can stay healthy, right? That's the big thing, right? Well, guys, it's been 49 minutes. Shoot my mouth off. Terrence, as always, buddy. Thanks for being here. Yeah, right. So good talking to you. So whoever spent any time listening to me, shoot my mouth off. Thank you. If anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.